It's the Opie and Anthony Show, the O&A virus spreading across America. In studio, Gene Simmons. And right away, he looks at Jim Norton and goes, he's talking about your Kiss shirt, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, well, that's not what I said. I said, that's not sucking up, is it?
He knew I was.
Yeah.
But
he's just trying to make sure that when he gets to jail, he'll be popular. I mean that in the very nicest way.
Not only did he wear the Kiss shirt, he's got pictures that he wants signed.
But only of me and him, nothing.
Yeah, I know.
And a few farm animals.
And
not a lot.
Train on one.
He was practicing on other pictures that he doesn't care about with all sorts of Sharpies to make sure it comes out perfect.
For?
Why you're gonna shut us down?
Our website we just put up like the opieanthony.com.
Okay, let me show you how to do it the right way. Ask me if it's okay to film.
Here we go.
Yeah, I told you
Go
already,
ahead.
Sam.
Go
Why don't you
ahead.
ask him?
Sam.
Well, of course.
Oh, all right.
See how that works?
He gave us the okay.
Yeah, before you stick it in, you say, may I?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Of course, pulling out is not an option, sorry. That was one of the first lies we ever told, isn't it? I promise I'll pull out.
Of course you mean the zoom on the camera. Because the fact that this is terrestrial radio and we're not on satellite for another hour or so.
That was not the real Gene Simmons. That was Craig from Stern's show who was doing an impression.
Oh, Craig Gass? That's a good Gene.
Oh, yeah, that was a great impression of you.
And whoever started using terrestrial, a big word like gymnasium.
I know.
It's a dumb word.
Everyone got confused as to what to call regular radio.
Then they should call it terra firma radio.
Terra firma?
That's actually what Earth is called. Did you know that?
Terra firma.
Terra firma, yes.
I like Earth better.
Solid ground. We are Terrans. But those are semantics.
I like Earthling.
Earthling is
It
good.
sounds cuter and nicer.
To me, it sounds like jewelry.
An Earthling?
Yeah, you got
like
a nice
some
Earthling.
bling.
Does it match?
Some Earth bling.
I prefer ex-monkey.
Oh, I like it.
That's good, because that's all we are.
Yeah. A little hyphen.
You buying that?
You mean that in the very nicest way, of course.
Oh, yeah. I love monkeys. They're fantastic.
Some people say we're not from the monkeys, though. Jimmy.
That's actually true. We're actually descended from Australopithecus africanus, which later became Australopithecus afarensis, which was discovered in what was then known as the Olduvai Gorge of Tanganyika by L.S. Leakey.
See, we had an argument about
Dr.
that
Leakey,
recently.
I presume?
That's exactly right.
Yes.
That was Spencer Tracy. And
Yes.
Livingston. I'm good.
He knows.
Yeah, 1943, I think it was.
Little picture, 1943, a little song.
You ever see the incident with Martin Sheen?
Sure.
A hard one to find on DVD. Martin Sheen's first film.
Yeah. How did you get the from Dr. Stanley Livingston to? That was the name of the movie, by the way.
Well, because we were talking about movies.
Old
so.
movies?
That's all we need.
You seem like you've seen a lot of obscure old movies, and I can't find them
I
on
see
DVD.
everything. I am a nut for just useless information. Yeah, I'm sure you can tell.
A lot of Discovery, History Channel stuff,
you know what? I'm an only child, and I have a lot of time to myself.
Yeah, a lot of television time.
I pout a lot, and so
Books.
I sit in front of the television. Yes, read a lot, and because I want to be an a-hole not only privately, but of course when you get together and people say, "How are you?" I'm glad you asked me that. When I was a child of 4, you know.
What's the geekiest magazine or that you would read to get information?
New
from?
Republic.
New Republic?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's in there? What's in there that you can use?
Political insights.
Yeah. Which way does it lean?
Not necessarily in either way, although, of course, pundits on the left believe it leans to the right, and likewise to the left.
That makes perfect sense.
I mean, it's just an accident depends on which side of the street you were in, because you see different sides of the accident.
I like Popular Mechanics. That kind of,
I can drive my truck, but as soon as you lift the hood...
It's over, Johnny?
I'm done.
Is that where because you're very knowledgeable on a lot of things, but what cars, it's over?
I know, but that's useless time. You hire somebody for that, pay them a few bucks.
Wasn't there a KISS dragster at some point?
As a matter of fact, there were 3 KISS NASCARs.
And
3 KISS NHRA cars.
Top fuel dragsters. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, John Force, who's got a show on A&E, see the segue?
Yeah. With his chicks.
He actually was part of one of the KISS teams, I think, and his protege, whose name I can never pronounce, although he's a champion, Tony Pedragan, actually won the Las Vegas NHRA race in a KISS funny car is what they call it.
Yeah.
But, of course, now I'm involved with Indy, which are the fastest cars on Earth. Man, you got to check this out. Racing season just ended in Chicago. And I went to almost every single one. And Simmons, Abramson. Sorry?
How'd you get involved in that?
You know, I was never really aware of it. Everybody's aware of the legendary and iconic Indy 500. But until I went down and saw my first IndyCar race, this was in Texas, I saw 145,000 people having the time of their lives. And then what you're seeing, you actually can't believe. Let me just kind of lay it out for you. You get whiplash with how fast these cars go by. When you get into an American Airlines jet that takes off, JFK, for instance, you're taking off, you're airborne at 150 miles an hour. On a straight line. These cars can go 90 miles an hour faster than that. In point of fact, they have wings in the front of the car pointed down, upside down, to keep the car on the ground.
Yeah, they lose
downforce. Yeah,
over.
When they crash into each other, they take off like rockets because there's so much. It's aerodynamically built so that. For instance, the car is about 4 inches off the ground. Literally, if the ground's not completely straight, they'll crash. So they're 4 inches off the ground because they're going so fast that the air going underneath it would lift it. They would take off like rockets. They are rockets.
And you have a Kiss.
Shelby now, Ant?
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
You want to cancel the Shelby now?
No, I'm getting the damn Shelby.
All right.
No, Shelby is like. NASCAR's great, but they're training wheels. That stuff. You can go into a dealership.
Boy, you are gonna piss off some people from the Midwest.
I'm not. You have to respect.
Don't you know this whole Indy NASCAR rivalry that goes on?
Of course,
it's huge.
Well, you should take a NASCAR and put it right next to an Indy car and see what happens.
Well, it's gonna. Well, okay. How about the first time you trade a little paint? That Indy car is gonna be.
Trade a little paint?
Trade a little paint, you know what I mean?
A little bump.
You get like,
they bump it up a bit.
Yeah, like a little rubbing, a little, that doesn't happen in that.
Roadrunner and Coyote. It's Roadrunner and Coyote, baby. You want to tread paint, you got to catch me first. The only thing they're going to be seeing is IndyCar butt, because it's going to be way ahead of you.
And you're involved in this as a sponsor?
No, the Simmons Abramson marketing firm does the worldwide branding marketing.
Of course it does.
For all of IndyCar around
Didn't you
the world.
used to play a guitar for a band?
We still do.
It's like, what happened?
No, everybody's used to just doing one thing. So whatever happened to a big word like Renaissance? Or Renaissance.
I'm going to the Renaissance Festival this Saturday.
Yeah, but what it really means is...
Does that mean Earth?
No, what it really means is that you should be doing lots of stuff. You should be doing all kinds of stuff.
You are truly like Da Vinci.
Oh, I'm not gay.
Renaissance. Da Vinci's gay?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Big time. He liked little boys. Liked young flesh.
Did he?
Male young flesh, yeah.
Wow.
Naughty one, that Da Vinci.
Well, he was creative, so what does that mean?
But anyone that's creative.
I don't know. Like a nice smooth easel to paint on.
that is one of the. Da Vinci is proof positive. Everybody should treat each other nicely because no matter what lifts your skirt, there's lots of cool stuff happening out there, and no matter where it comes from, tip your hat. But you're right. Simmons Abramson Marketing does do the worldwide branding marketing for the Indy Racing League. Check it out at IndyCar.com.
Have you ever been in an IndyCar?
I'm physically too big because every single pound, in fact, the drivers don't eat before they get into the cars. And, of course, Danica Patrick, who's a champion, really pretty girl, will leave your butt in the dust, is about 5'1", maybe 5 feet tall. And so the additional weight actually has an impact on the miles per hour. When you're doing the Indy 500, for instance, you're doing... 200. It takes about 2.5 hours because you're going over 200 miles an hour all the time.
Yeah.
And, hardly any crashes ever. You can't because at those speeds, you will die.
No, they've got much safer, too.
Well, we did have a fatality, actually, in the very first race this year.
Well, except for that.
Yeah,
just let me take what I said and just throw it right out the window.
In the trials. No, these are modern knights in shining armor. These people really have a kind of a dignity and loyalty to what they do, and it's life-threatening. This is way above sports. But you're right. The Gene Simmons Family Jewels is on A&E.
Oh, yes, of course.
Big hit. I'm very proud of it. It joins my other show, which is on Nickelodeon, My Dad the Rock Star, the cartoon show, which is now in its 5th year.
5th year? And you've had a cartoon on Nickelodeon.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
See, well, I don't watch much Nickelodeon.
What's the matter with you?
I don't have kids.
We're out of the demo.
I'm not saying a word. Ain't Norton.
I don't have kids, and I'm not Da Vinci.
I don't want to get yelled at, so I'm just going to kind of enjoy.
Well, I'm waiting for the jokes, otherwise I dominate this.
Don't count on any. I just get nervous when idols are around. So
yeah, he's just staring at you.
I just kind of clam up and enjoy. And then as soon as you leave, I'll say a bunch of funny things, and maybe someone could email them to you, that was good what Norton said, because I'll get nervous.
All right.
Now, what made you? Now, a lot of people would say money because you do have a reputation as a
Wait a
businessman.
minute. What do you guys do this for free? Everybody wants to make money.
Of course, I'm not saying that.
Stop attacking
You
Gene.
get so defensive.
No.
Shut up, I'm not.
I'm
What was your motivation?
I'm making the observation. You're being defensive, but I'm not being offensive.
No.
Making the observation, stating fact, which is you like to get paid just the way
But
I
you
do.
said that before I completed what I was saying.
He was going somewhere.
Because your point was some people might think you do it for money. Inference being, what, you don't do this for money?
No, I do this for money and because it's a lot of fun.
Well, what does that mean, that I don't do it for fun?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you for. You didn't so rudely interrupt me.
Do I look like a happy guy? Do I look? What's funny about that?
You do actually.
Don't I look
like
happy?
a happy guy. Is that the voice in the Nickelodeon cartoon?
No, that's Pesci. What's the matter with you? That's from Wise Guy.
What's funny about that? That's Goodfellas.
Oh, okay.
What's funny about that? You think I'm funny? That's Pesci.
That's Pesci?
I knew it. He didn't.
That's Bugs Bunny.
You think that's funny? What do you think? I'm a clown?
Ooh, you varmint! Sounds like somebody.
I say.
That's Mel Blanc.
I'll say it. What possessed you to invite cameras in to your personal life?
You mean for Gene Simmons' Family Jewels seen on Monday, and of course reruns on A&E.
Yes.
By the way, everybody should check out. This is a good little organization. They have a wacky brand, A&E. Nobody knows what that stands for. I don't like the sound of it, but they've got
Arts and Entertainment.
Oh, shut up. That's horrible.
It used to be. Well, it used to be when it first came out was pretty much stuff you'd see on PBS. A lot of that stuff.
Yeah, it was.
But
like
it's cool.
Now
there's some cool stuff. They've got Dallas SWAT.
Yeah.
You got to watch this stuff. Now they've added 2 more Dallas SWATs, Dallas, Kansas City, and stuff. This is the real stuff. And this guy, Chris Angel, is actually a big Kiss fan. I met Chris when he was first working out of the basement of the WWE building over here in Times Square. And he was doing a little show, and I came to see him and stuff. And I'm going, you spell your name interestingly, Chris, C-R-I-S-S. He did that in honor of Peter Criss, big Kiss fan.
Really?
Didn't want to spell
I
his
didn't
name
know
C-H. Yeah, that's why he spelled it.
I thought he was just stupid.
No, this guy gets chicks. Anybody?
We've had him on the show. Yeah.
Good guy, really fascinating, and all that, and of course, Dog, the powerful and attractive Dog, convicted murderer, by the way. Convicted murderer.
Yes. With his own show now.
It's fun. Why
Isn't that
not?
amazing?
He's in America.
He's a bounty hunter. Goes out with his fire extinguisher full of mace.
His wife is a hoot, Beth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met in Los Angeles, and she went into the when are you going to get married routine. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that term.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
as we all know, the only thing wrong with marriage is one of the two tends to be a man.
Well, that is an issue on your show.
It's never an issue for the male of the species.
No, not for you, but
It kind of looks like you're married when you watch Family Jewels, though.
Well, you mean Gene Simmons' Family Jewels?
Yes.
Right.
When you watch the show, it looks like you're married, even though you're not.
Here's what it's called.
You got the wife in the house. You got the kids. It looks like a marriage thing to me.
I know, but the reason I'm happy and the rest of you guys are miserable is nobody's allowed to ask me where I'm going. Where are you going? Where am I going? Who wants to know? The last time I checked, only the mother who gave me birth has that right.
She honestly doesn't check up on you.
Because they know it's to some business deal where he's going to bring home suitcases full of cash.
Absolutely not. If you watch the show, you'll see. As a matter of fact, this last week's show was me opening up Gene Simmons' Bikini Car Wash, and there were babes galore. I go to the Hooters casino opening. This idea that women have that just because they make 1 or 2 eggs and we make billions of sperm every day, they've actually deluded themselves into believing that all of our billions of sperm are just for her. How about no?
Share the wealth.
Well, we have no choice. That's how we're built. Tell me if this is true. All you women out there, don't cast glances at me because I'm too far away. But think of it this way. Your beloved, the guy you love, who's already said in front of God and country and everybody else that he's going to spend the rest of his days on earth with you, in sickness and in health, and said, I do. And he loves you. He does. And you're walking down the stairs, and they're throwing rice at you, and you look at each other lovingly, and you know that this is your guy. And he turns around, and on his left is a girl with a pair of double Ds with her finger in her mouth. What is the first thing your guy is thinking?
Hopefully she's bulimic.
Kick her down the stairs. Kick your new wife down the stairs.
He will mount her in public and charge admission. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't love his beloved. It means that nature and the blueprint of life as designed by God himself speaks louder than that.
And the lovely Miss Tweed is fine with this?
It doesn't matter. You know, the idea is that you don't own the other person. I'm crazy about her. We've been together happily unmarried for 23 years.
Right. Now, to me, that seems like it's just a formality.
That's
it's paperwork.
It is paperwork. You got that right. You need a cohabitation agreement, which supersedes and nullifies all laws of the land. That means, in plain English, anybody can leave anytime they want, but there's no paying.
So now that you're not open up to things like palimony, things like that, because you have a contract written out.
That's right. When you check into a hotel, you're actually signing a cohabitation. You agree to cohabitate in that building with the rest of the people. But when you leave, you don't take half the hotel with you.
But the guy, the check-in clerk, doesn't care if you're screwing the cleaning woman.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how he would care because he's doing her. It actually doesn't matter. You have to live your life your way. You have the responsibility to make yourself happy. How anybody else thinks about it is beside the point.
Does it cheapen the relationship, even though you've been together so long?
No, I think the honesty makes my relationship more profound than all the rest of you guys, because all the rest of you guys lie, and you make up stories, and when your wife turns around, you look at the first girl and make all kinds of remarks.
Well, looking is fine. Well, looking is fine.
Well,
but what about now taking the next step into diving in? You
know as well as I do that most of the guys listening out there have been there, and not every mailman and every milkman that comes by is an unhappy guy. There are many wives out there who do the deed and nobody talks about it.
Sure.
The reason I'm different than the rest of you guys is all of you lie. I refuse to.
What does she get out of it then? Why does she accept this?
Is she allowed to do the same thing?
Yeah,
cool, she does the same thing.
What does she get out of this?
More importantly, it's not. There are no rules. You're thinking archaic terms. In the modern world, whether you like it or not, people will do whatever they want to do anyway.
But why does she accept this arrangement?
You don't have to accept it.
No, why does she though? Why does she?
Perhaps there's love. Perhaps above and beyond who and what we are, that we don't define love by a body part.
You're like a Vulcan. It's just pure logic.
Your stuff is faulty. The way she defines her relationship with you is through that thing that dangles between your legs. That thing belongs to me. That's her definition of you, and you define her that way too.
So you have no problem with her going and getting some on the side?
I would absolutely stay with her, because the most important thing is how I feel about her as a human being, not how I feel about the body part. Because let's be honest about this. I'm going to say this again slowly so the rest of you get it. You can't own a human being. It doesn't matter what you say. And I refuse to do the things that all the rest of you do, which is you promise in front of God that you take the oath. I'm going to stay with you forever. And then when you get divorced, my question is, what happened to that oath?
Where did that oath go?
You lied. You lied.
Drivers and stuff can't get away with that. Like, let's be honest. I mean, you are who you are.
I know, but I want to go back to what I said, because you lied. You lied to God. You lied to the person in front of you, to your priest, your rabbi, everybody. You lied. I won't.
I didn't lie. She lied to me. She said she was a girl.
But, Gene, throw all that out. And she comes home and she tells you she was with someone else. You're fine with that?
I may not be. I may have all the complaints in the world, but the choices are, I don't like it, I leave, or I don't like it, I stay. How you feel about something, who cares? Tell me the truth. When you were growing up and your mom said, if you love me, it's always conditional. If you love me, you won't hang out with Johnny, who's the a-hole down the block.
Right.
Well, you love your mother, but that has nothing to do with what you do. You have some decisions to make for yourself. This is not a comfortable conversation for women, because it goes against the biological nature of what it is.
You don't see sexual contact, though, as being something that is also part of love, or so it's so personal between two people that
sometimes more.
Yeah.
Well, it's not always true.
You don't see that, but you've completely disconnected the two.
That's
like
actually
love and sex.
No, I think all you guys think about is your definition of your partner as by a body part. That part belongs to me. But if you want to go shopping with your girlfriends or rub your elbows, no, that's okay. But that piece over there, that's mine.
It's not so much like putting your brand on it.
Yes, it is.
It's more like that. It's not mine, but it's part of the whole relationship.
Well, it's a relationship is whatever you define it to be. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go back to what I said before. Human beings will do whatever they want to do, no matter what the oaths are, no matter what they say, or no matter what the rules are. That's the truth. And the reason you watch here, Oprah and Martha are possibly the two most powerful women on television. And the housewives of America watch these shows to get marriage counseling advice. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Phil.
Of course, Dr.
Neither Oprah or Martha are married. Duh. And Dr. Phil gives advice. By the way, I know Dr. Phil. He's a cool guy. I respect what he does. But the fallacy in all that is he's giving marriage advice, but he's been divorced.
Right.
I've never been divorced.
It's because you've never been married.
Correct. The biggest cause of divorce is marriage. How about if you just live together? How about if you just live together if you want to, and if you don't, don't. You're not allowed to torture the other person. If you like what's going on, stay. If you don't, be quiet and go away. You're not allowed to torture me.
That's fine. I completely agree with that.
We're done. Also,
that's what Anthony's doing.
That's it.
Tell me before. That's called full disclosure before the fact. So I urge every guy to sit down with his beloved, who he intends on marrying, and saying, listen, before we get married, I just want to know what the rules are. I'll tell you my wish list, your wish list. In case we get divorced, because the statistics say we will, how much money do you want? Figure it out now. Not when you hate each other. Talk about money when you love each other.
But then women are going to go, if you love me, you wouldn't say that. And realistically,
then you better run right
realistically,
now.
You'll always have a shot at picking up another 10 because you are who you are. Most guys, if he's got a hot chick, he's terrified of losing her. Like, I can't let this one go.
You just skipped over a big pothole in the ground.
Prostitution?
Well, at least she has the dignity to tell you before how much it's going to cost.
You're preaching to the choir.
That's right. And there's not a lot of talking. Boom. See you bye. Look, if you ask your beloved, if we get divorced, how much money do you want? And she says it's unromantic, run. Run
Where do
right
you run
now.
to? If you're like a regular guy and you make, like, say, $30,000 a year, and it's
why'd you point to Adam when you said that?
Because that's where I would run. He looked like Tony Danza.
Because there are a lot of women out there. Because there are a lot of women out there who also don't want to sleep alone.
Yeah, but if you find a girl who you like, and you're not meeting a lot of girls, it's kind of hard for you to tell the one that likes you enough to be with you for a long time. Like, look, these are the rules, bitch. Take it or leave it.
No, that's not what I said. I said
full
disclosure. No, you positioned it in a way that I did not. I'm talking about full disclosure before the fact. Sit down, be completely honest with each other. The problem with relationships is nobody ever tells each other the full story before. Tell me what the rule. Tell me what you want. I'll tell you what I want. If we don't agree, let's not get together because it's going to be a problem.
We got down and say, honey, party of the first part.
We got to. It
doesn't have to be that way.
We have to take a break.
Esquire.
We have to take a break. We're real late. You sticking around, Gene?
What do you got in mind?
I don't know. We could talk a little more after the break, or you can leave.
I think I've got. Do I have a chance? Where's my guy? He's outside.
Where's your guy?
Some guy who's carrying.
All right. Well, we can get the. How about we get the plugs in just in case you're not sitting.
Okay, GeneSimmons.com. Log on to it. You'll be able to jump onto the Gene Simmons Family Jewels MySpace section and the blah blah blah, and see our new Kiss perfume line, which I'm going around.
Oh my God! A Kiss perfume line,
shampoos, deodorant, everything. I'll be going around the country.
Wow!
Gene Simmons showed this to me in the green room. There's a Gene Simmons Kiss stamp.
Of course,
that was so cool.
You can go to any post office. It's only 39 cents.
It is brilliant. We should have some Opie and Anthony cologne.
And of course, by the way, when you go on to GeneSimmons.com, you'll be able to log on, click on to the Kiss, the Canon camera, which just debuted in Japan, so you'll see the Japanese TV commercial. And when you're in Myrtle Beach, go to the first of a new franchise, the Kiss Coffee Houses, which is spreading across the country.
Stop it.
We had Kiss condoms and Kiss caskets. We'll get you coming. We'll get you going.
They just call up Ace Frehley has an artificial heart.
Oh, that's not
Ace
nice.
Frehley artificial heart.
No, we love Ace.
All right, Gene, it's always a pleasure. Family Jewels on A&E, Monday nights? 10 o'clock?
Monday nights, and they repeat it throughout. And, of course, log on to, find out Nickelodeon. Get your kids to watch My Dad the Rockstar. It's a great show.
All right. It's the O&A virus spreading across America. Gene Simmons, everyone.